Alright, so I said I'd do an update at 1,000 miles. I'm a little bit off. Been busy and forgot. But here we are. I've driven 1,000 miles in this machine now, using it the past, like 10 business days or so for work. And I've gotten a little bit more familiar with the vehicle, still relatively unfamiliar, however, with all the features. One of the things I found that I just really can't stand, if you ever happen to have the displeasure of using Android Auto and connecting that to the infotainment center here, it just drains the crap out of your battery. And when you get to your first repair stop of the day and you have 37% battery and you've only been driving for 30 minutes and you had 100% charge to start, really rather frustrating. And you can turn, sorry about that, stuff moving around in the back. You can turn the Bluetooth on your cell phone off over and over and over again, and it turns it back on. It retethers over and over and over again until I have to disconnect myself from the damn screen, which is super, super annoying. So I've got that crap turned off permanently. I only liked it because like Google Maps synchronizes with the infotainment center here, and I could actually listen to YouTube videos through the speakers of the van while going to my destination, which is nice. So I get to learn while I drive. But it's more hassle than it's worth. Otherwise, you got to disconnect and reconnect every single time you get in and out of the vehicle, and when time's a factor, that's not so much of a great feature. I feel like it's more of a detriment, if anything. And that might just be I have an S10, so that might just be like my cell phone, but not impressed by that. A little bit more of the real-world range. A lot of my most recent routes, which are mixed driving, so I may drive now. Well, it really just depends, because my area varies. Anywhere in South Central Pennsylvania down to like Baltimore. I can go to Frederick, Maryland. It just depends. I have had a route in Frederick, which is a good hour and 25-minute departure from where I live. I got the whole way there, no problem. About a half a charge left. I don't know, maybe this might be like 85 miles one way, maybe 90 miles from my house. The van is not super efficient on the highway. Not nearly as efficient as it is in like the rural areas of the suburbs. I get like 2 to 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour when driving on the highway, and I'm very conservative driver. I mean, you can see my gauges as I drive. You're like, I never gun it. I try to keep it like 10% power, 20% power to get up hills, maybe a little bit more. You know, I'm the slow guy in the right lane at 60, 55, just trying to maximize efficiency for this because I don't want to have to stop and charge, although I did have to stop and charge multiple times this week. So on the route in Frederick, there happens to be an Electrify America station there, which that worked out. I charged, 30 miles in like 5-6 minutes, 7 minutes maybe. I was just getting myself enough range to get back to the office at the end of the day and just get the van back to my house once I was done. It's not. I didn't sit there long enough to like recharge the van because that's really not time effective. Maryland has decent infrastructure for fast charging, specifically with Electrify America stations, and this is the only one I really have any experience with at this point because I just haven't had much opportunity to try and charge. There's one in Frederick, there's one in Hagerstown, Baltimore's got a couple, there's one in Bel Air. But as far as like my area, like Pennsylvania, like York, Lancaster, Harrisburg, there is absolutely nothing. I apologize again, that's my load shifting in the back. There's like one kind of offset to where Carlisle is, but that I don't frequent that area very often, so that's kind of useless. Very disappointed with the overall infrastructure. And that mostly pertains to like the fast chargers. There's a bunch of like slow chargers, like blink chargers, charge point stations, and I've had to use those twice throughout the week just to get enough range because I sometimes take a coworker home at the end of the day too. And I didn't want to leave myself in a position where, I was at zero and may not get home. So it's mostly out of range anxiety, which, I'm still newer to the electric vehicle thing. I don't want to have to get a tow. Let's put it that way. Other things I've noticed, some of the features get disabled with the infotainment center when you're driving, which is kind of stupid in my opinion. I'm pretty literate with driving. I've driven like 500,000 miles at this point, at least, just in service. I feel pretty confident in my ability to press buttons on the screen while driving simultaneously. One of the other things that I've noticed on my lane keep assist has not functioned in the past 2 days. I don't know if that's an issue or if it's because the van has been auto-correcting a lot for me. A lot of these roads that I travel on are really narrow, and it's difficult to not have one tire touch one line while the other tire is not touching the other line, more or less, around turns. And the lane keep assist just keeps bumping me back and forth and just steers against me. So I'm kind of glad that it's off. That was rather annoying. It'd be nice if the machine had like a more of like an auto steer feature for the highway. Asking a little bit too much there, perhaps. As far as like other things that I've noticed since the last video, I really can't say this too much. I haven't explored too much yet. I haven't really had a lot of time. The service has been busy, so most of my free time is, well, really just spent working. So I wish I went through a little bit more here to show everybody what this fan's really all about. And I will take the time at some point. I have like an electronic owner's manual sent to me by the Ford dealer, and I'll figure out what all these buttons and whatnot do. I literally haven't even gone through all the menus yet. I just want to talk a little bit more about the range that this thing has. During like suburban driving, like I will get like 2.5 to up to like 4 miles per kilowatt hour, which is just really impressive. You know, there are some trips I go, or some like stop trips between calls. Like I'll go from like North Reading to South Reading. I'll travel like 8.5 miles. I'll lose 1 mile of range. Around like the 25 mile per hour mark, and like city driving especially, this thing just does really, really well with the range. Really well. Now, mind you, I also don't really use the climate control too much in here, and I keep it on Eco all the time. As you can see on the dash, it's always on Eco. And I turn the climate control off more or less because it's like 60 degrees every day. It's 73 right now, so it's a comfortable temperature in here. Your experiences will obviously vary depending upon your climate. It's just the right time of year. So my range numbers right now are going to be the best they can possibly get. And I'm still seeing, I think the worst day I had like that Frederick day, I got like 140 miles out of the machine, where the majority of that was highway, so that kind of sucks. But it didn't leave me stranded. Did not leave me stranded, that's all I could really ask for. I'm going to do more of a deep dive into this electronic owner's manual at some point over the next week or two, and I'll post an update about that. Not much else to talk about. Like I said, I'm going to create another video about that owner's manual. Maybe there's more to this vehicle than meets the eye, but I'm not as impressed the second week as I was the first week, and I'll leave it at that. Alright, until next time.